friends of ours, Jen and Dale, are joining us tonight to talk to us about their experience on a cruise. Not a cruise from 2 years ago or a cruise from 3 years ago or back in the day, as the kids say, but a cruise from 2021.
Wow,
one of
this
the
year.
Yes, one of the very few cruises that have sailed in the Caribbean in 2021. So it'll be exciting to hear what they have to say about their cruise on Celebrity Millennium. Earlier,
how it's changed,
how things have
cruising has changed.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got a lot to share with us. So if you're on with us live, be sure to jump in with your questions in the chat. If you're watching us in the future, as I like to say, if you're watching us sometime down the line, put a comment in. We'll try to get back to you. And we think we've got some interesting stuff to talk about. We haven't been able to be on a cruise again since all this craziness started, but it's really fun to be able to hear from somebody else what their experience was like.
We can live vicariously through others.
Yes. So, vicariously. That seems like that's. Let's spell that. Let's not. Instead, okay. Let's say hi to Tyler from the Tyler Show.
Hey, Tyler.
Good to see you here. Thanks for stopping by. We're glad to have you here. We got Jen and Dale. They're going to talk about their cruise from this year. So
I know. I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Some other people can relate to that, but we can't. Not yet. Not that we're jealous or anything.
Hopefully in November, if all things go well.
Yeah,
Knock on wood.
We'll see. So anyway, we're going to bring in Jen and Dale here in just a minute or two here, but we need to mention a couple things up front, right? We got to do shameless plugs and promotions and all that stuff. Hopefully it doesn't scare everybody away, but no, we got to mention next week we've got a special episode coming up that we've been working on for 2 years.
We have?
2 years.
2 years?
Yes. Wait, you didn't do your assignments? Oh no! Oh no! Well, we might be skipping a couple more weeks again, guys. No, we've got a very special live episode next Monday. What day would that be? The 26th?
It's on Monday.
Oh boy. Yeah. So tune in next Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
No, Monday. It's Monday.
Tuesday?
Monday.
Wow. Okay. Oh boy. Next Monday. The live show at 7 o'clock Eastern time, which that's another topic that might be changing because we did a little poll on Instagram and we got some feedback and a lot of people seemed interested in us doing it a little later. I think especially people on the West Coast. Maybe. Yeah, those of us that are on the East Coast were like 7 o'clock Eastern. Sure, have a chance to have dinner or do the show before dinner if you're a late dinner person. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Do the hokey pokey. What? No. Okay. Speaking of awkwardness, let's move on to something else. So yeah, next week we've got more guests coming up after next week. No guests next week unless somebody surprises us. Yeah. If we don't keep Jen and Dale waiting, then maybe they'll come back next week. But we've been making them wait so long. Waiting. Well, we gotta tell them. We gotta tell them a couple more things. You didn't ask them to do one thing that you always like to ask people viewing the channel to do. Oh, give us a like. Give us a thumbs up if you like us. Well, if you like the show tonight with Jen and Dale, and it can only get better from here because soon they're going to be on and to join us. Anyway, we do need to do one more shameless plug, partly because the episode where we premiered our new Cruise Day Fun beach tee, as I call it, but our beach t-shirt available at cruisedayfun.com. We promoted it heavily on one episode, and that episode turned out to be a technical disaster. So that episode is nowhere to be found on the internets. So check out that t-shirt if you want to have a special shirt for your upcoming cruise. So anyway, speaking of that, we should say hello to some other people that have joined us live. We've got MGM Family Travel in the house. Always great to have you guys here. We're going to be speaking to Jen and Dale, as you probably heard, about their recent cruise. Mm-hmm. Something that MGM Family Travel can probably relate to. I believe I've seen a few videos about their recent experience. But so it'll be great to hear. Well, if you haven't watched MGM Family Travel's videos, you got to check that out, first of all, because they had an awesome experience on a certain Carnival cruise ship. But we're going to be talking about Celebrity tonight. And Speaking of celebrities, recent guests from our very own channel here are also in the house. We got Matthew and Lauren in the house.
Hey!
Yeah, they like the shirt. So see, I told you they're really smart. Smart people. So yeah, what they're referring to, in case you missed it, is this t-shirt you can get at cruisedayfun.com.
Wow.
Okay. So should we spend more time on this?
No, let's
move on.
greet our guests.
I don't know why you're making me wait so long. We got to bring the guests in. We're very excited and very fortunate that Jen and Dale would take the time to join us. We've been talking to them for a while. I feel like we kind of know them. I consider them kind of be like friends.
Yeah.
So, but we're not biased here. We love all our guests. They're all awesome, especially since we've got a couple of them in the house too. But if you haven't checked out Jen and Dale's Instagram account, they got awesome photos. They got some great experiences, and we can't wait. We already know a little bit because we talked a little bit already, but we can't wait for you to hear about their experience on the Celebrity Millennium. Should we bring them in?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
So exciting.
Why'd you make me wait so long? Oh. There they are. Hey, guys.
It's great to see you guys.
What took you so long?
We'll come back next week if you need us to.
There you go.
Or in 3 weeks.
Hey, more the merrier.
That's right. That's right. We would
could
love
have it as a drinking party too.
A drinking?
Sure.
Why do you always
There
go
we
there?
go. That is what we'll do.
You know how Joy is. That's she's obsessed with drinking, even though she rarely touches this stuff. She loves to set up.
Hey, I'm
parties.
drinking now.
Yeah, that's bottled water. You can't fool anybody. So we gotta say hi before we continue. As we got John and Nancy in the house, Jay and N Travels, and we've got Happy Slappy. Welcome in, Happy Slappy. Yeah,
Riley. Happy Slappy is our nephew. Right.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Welcome into the live show.
I'm like, who's Happy Slappy?
That's awesome. And Matthew and Lauren excited to watch the show. See, it's 7:00, and they're on the West Coast. And even though I mentioned we might be changing the time of our show here, they managed to make it in at 7:00. So maybe we don't need to change it.
Well,
aren't we supposed to be talking to our guests?
Yes.
Okay.
So remember to subscribe so you don't miss out.
What? Subscribe.
If you do want to have your dinner and then come back, it'll be at a later time too.
That works too. It'll work out. Why are you talking about subscribing? I'm very confused.
Subscribe to both our channels.
Okay, well, there's Instagram.
Okay, then subscribe on Instagram.
No, you follow. I actually wish YouTube call it following, because I think people are afraid to subscribe because they feel like they're committing to Entertainment Weekly for the next 20 years or something.
No,
or I don't know. No,
we're not gonna stalk people. It's too much work.
I'm very confused.
It's water.
It is water. Okay. All right. Well, So, Jen and Dale, we are so happy to have you on board. Oh, wait, I missed what you were holding up there, Dale. He's got a beverage.
It is water. It's water. Even though it is 7:00, it's still water.
Okay.
Isn't there a saying it's 7:00 somewhere? Or 5:00 somewhere?
It's 6:00 somewhere, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's in your water?
Yes.
Anyways.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. We've got some amazing experiences on board an actual cruise ship to hear about. We've talked to Jen and Dale previously, so we know a lot about it, but we're really excited to share this with everyone watching. So if you've been curious about Celebrity Millennium, or you've been curious about what's it like to be on a cruise this year with everything that's changed and things restarting, these are two people that are going to give you the scoop.
The 411, the information.
Yeah.
But all and there's no question unanswered. Unless you run out of time, and then you'll have to ask it later.
Oh, well, that's why we'll have you back next week, possibly. So let's start in with the questions, because if you let me ramble, we'll get way off. I know that's probably never going to happen, but let's ask. So before we talk about the ship itself, can you tell us about what the experience was like prior to embarking in? And this cruise was from St. Martin. Can you tell us what the experience was leading up to it, or what the experience was like in St. Martin, that sort of thing, just to kind of start at the beginning?
So we did the June 19th Celebrity Millennium sailing out of St. Martin, and we had booked it about 3 months before. As soon as they opened it up, we were booking because we were tired of the CDC waiting around and giving, weird responses to everything. So we decided to book, and we had booked our airfare through Celebrity, which was amazing. But then the week of the cruise, St. Martin decided to change the testing requirements 4 times that Monday.
Oh my
And
goodness.
everybody began to freak out. And we did too, because they went from like 110-hour testing requirement for a PCR test to 72 to 48, back to 72. And then by Tuesday morning, it was back to 110. But then Celebrity emailed us and said, no, now we're going to need a 72-hour test. And we had people in our cruise Facebook group kind of dropping off like flies, like, we can't do this. We're going to rebook because then all of a sudden the Celebrity Edge had gotten approval to go. And so it was very, very stressful.
Yeah.
Wow. So despite the stress, we do have someone here who is volunteering and does want to go on a cruise with you. So.
Yes,
he's going on with Hawaii.
He's going on Hawaii.
Oh.
I'll volunteer to go on a cruise
Well, I
with
think
you
they've
too.
already got a volunteer.
Yeah, so we ended up having to get a 72-hour PCR test,
Right.
and that was at our own expense.
Oh my goodness.
We did the rapid, testing. And then what you do is St. Martin has a computer website that you have to upload your vaccination card. You have to upload your negative COVID results. And then they give you, once you've completed all of that, they give you a document with a QR code. Now, they said you can, that approves you to actually arrive in the country. Now, the difference is St. Martin actually still maintained their 120-hour testing limit. But one of the things is that Barbados changed it to a 72-hour. So, so that's why Celebrity, even though St. Martin had a 120-hour requirement, 72 hours was for Celebrity to actually get us to Barbados, because about a week before we left, they shuffled the itinerary. So Barbados, which was going to be our last port, actually became our first port.
Oh boy.
So we could get there within the 72 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that was the biggest stressor, was actually making sure that we had all of the documentation, just to make sure that we had our testing requirements, we had our vaccination cards. They only accepted the originals; you couldn't bring copies. And so there was a lot more documentation that we needed than just printing off your boarding pass and you bringing your passport.
So you actually had to print out everything?
We did. Yeah, you could show it on your phone, but
there was no Wi-Fi.
There was no Wi-Fi at the airport to utilize, and we didn't have the the data plan to use our phone in St. Martin. So we had prematurely already went ahead and printed everything, and when we got there, of course, the health minister stamped everything, and then we had to go through customs, and then we were able to get on the ship. But that was was the biggest stressor of this entire experience, was just getting through the port and on the ship.
Right.
I think another stressor is just you had to really have patience, because there was so many changes. It was like a moving machine almost. Like you had to go with the flow with the testing. You had to go with the flow with the different port stops. We were told we could get off in Barbados and walk around. That turned out you couldn't. And so it was just, you had to kind of just go with the flow, and I guess bring your patience.
And that, that I think, anytime you're traveling internationally, with us living in Florida, we usually just drive to the port about a half hour before our boarding time and then get on the ship. So this was a different experience, because this is also the first time we've ever flown to a port and we were boarding the day of. Now, I don't know if it would have been, quote unquote, less stressful going in the day before. But St. Martin had a requirement where if you showed up the day before or earlier, you also had to pay a $30 per person COVID insurance. Now,
Oh my goodness.
so we were considered transit, so we got to go. We didn't have to do that, and we got to go right to the ship, which was really easy. I mean, there was a lot of people that had booked. They had booked through the transportation from the airport to the cruise port, but we were never offered that option when we booked our air. So first we kind of got, well, what do we do? And they said, well, there's cabs right here. And it was this gigantic van. And, you know, if you've ever been in any of these cruise ports, anytime you see a van, you're like, okay, there's going to be 93 people stuffed into that van.
Right.
But the driver's like, nope, get in, let's go. And it was just us.
Right. It was $25 one way.
It was $25 one way from the airport to the port. It's probably about a 20-minute drive because you have to kind of climb up a mountain and then go back down. But once we got to the port, they whisked our luggage away. It showed up at our room later, so they just grabbed it and took it. And then they re-examined our documentation again. They took photos with an iPad of our passport and our vaccine card, and I don't know if they did I think they did our test too.
I can't remember.
And they were just snapping pictures with an iPad, and then they said, okay, you're done. Go out that way. And the golf cart took us to the cruise. Now we've had our mask on the entire time since we were at the airport
in Miami.
Miami.
So what was your first impression of the ship when you finally saw it?
So we do have a video on our Instagram of the actual moment she walked on board. And
so we had talked about this, about, you know, it had been 501 days since we had left a ship, and the last ship we had gone on was the Royal Caribbean Mariner of the Seas, and we had left on February 2nd. And, you know, we weren't counting or anything, but we were just like, it was scary. It literally was, because we didn't have the keys and we had to show these boarding passes, and everybody was wearing masks, the security, everybody. And then you had to scan your boarding pass that was either on your phone or we had printed out because we didn't have Wi-Fi. And then once you went through security, they said this lady came over and hand sanitized you, and she goes, you can take your masks off. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, take your masks off. It's maskless.
Hallelujah.
And I was like, okay. And then as soon as I took my mask off, I cried. I broke down and cried.
Yeah, I would too.
It was just too much. It was just like, we finally made it after all the stressors of the week with the PCR testing and all the changes. And so we just cried.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was an amazing.
I would probably too, with all that stress and everything.
And then, of course, then we made our way to our room because we knew that's where our keys would be. And then they gave, within our room, we had 2 of these wonderful Healthy at Sea masks.
Oh, nice.
And we actually opened one just to see. And it's actually a very nice, high quality mask with the little celebrity logo on it. Oh, there it is.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And then there was 2 bottles of celebrity issued hand sanitizer. Now, of course, you don't need this because like every 8 feet, there's one of those automatic sanitizer stations. But it was a very nice thing. And then our keys were waiting for us. And then we were free to roam the ship. The ship had a late departure in St. Martin. We didn't leave. We didn't actually, I mean, we were almost asleep, I think, by the time we set out. But it was, 10
p.m.
It was a 10 p.m. boarding time, but then we had a dinner at one of the specialty restaurants the first night.
Well, also you have to talk about the mustard drill.
Oh, the mustard drill. Mustard drill 2.0.
Yeah.
It should be on every cruise ship. I hope that anybody, because I know that it's on some of the Royals now and all the celebrities. It's amazing. We watched a video on our phone. The app is the main thing now. You're going to need the app for everything. But the mustard drill 2.0, you watch a video, you make the little horn blow. It does the 7 short blasts and 1 long blast. And then once you finish that, it says you can now go, you're hooked up to the ship's Wi-Fi. And and it's free. Go to your muster station, and of course, it's on your sailing sign card, which is hanging on the wall back there.
Wow.
And then you go right up there. They put a sticker. They scan it, put a sticker. You've done the muster drill.
You're done.
Nice.
You're not sweating
Oh my
on the
gosh.
outside deck.
That's so nice.
You're
Wow.
not sweating. You're not crammed into
Yeah.
the dining room with about 1,000 of your new best friends for the week. It's just
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
waiting for those last 3 people to show up who you know are at the bar
Right,
since
right.
like
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, or hiding out somewhere while you're standing there crowded and other ships are
Sweating.
You're
passing
like
you
this.
by, and
Yeah.
Can you guys squeeze together more?
No,
Yeah.
no, I can't squeeze together anymore.
It'll become
Well-
indecent.
Okay, enjoy. And we're live on YouTube right now. It's a Cruise Day Fun. We've got Jen and Dale, and we're talking about the normal crowding experience during muster drill. What's it called? Muster 2.0?
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, it sounds
Celebrity-
like.
Celebrity calls it like healthy sail or something like that. But
Oh,
I think
sure.
across the Royal brands, they're referring to it as Muster 2.0.
Yeah, it sounds
but
good.
Yeah, it was amazing. Now, one thing that they do is if you've been cruising for a while, you remember the old paper forms when you get to the port and you have to say that, you
Yep.
haven't been sick in the last week and all that.
Right.
That's now all, I don't know if she can
Let
see,
me really
see
get on.
it.
But that's the
Yeah,
Muster 2.0.
that's the
Mhm.
Muster
Uh-huh.
2.0.
So you would watch that video before boarding, and then it
Uh-huh.
tells you where to go at, and then if you scroll, there's the emergency horn.
Yeah, there's the
Uh-huh.
horn.
I'm
Where,
trying
And
to
the-
get where.
yeah,
Yep,
there you go.
we can see it. Yep. And that's
then
what
it
Dale's
tells you
talking
where to
about it
go.
actually. Yep. So
It does make the horn sound.
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
well, and if you've never cruised before, you might not have heard that. You might not know what they're talking about. So it's good they have an audio. I think that's clever.
And if you want to cut somebody off, you can just play that on your phone. You know, it's great. But
Oh boy.
oh, there it goes.
Yep.
So
Uh-oh.
yeah, I mean it's very, with that. This was our 30th cruise.
Wow.
So-
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So we were happy. We were like, it's never gonna go, but it went. So we're happy.
With the health
Wow.
screening, what they do is they send you a notification 24 hours before you
Right.
board,
Mhm.
and you fill out the health questionnaire on the app.
Right.
That's actually
awesome.
the last step that
Yeah.
gets you to check in.
right,
Oh,
and that's
goodness.
all on the app.
It's all in the app, and you won't give
All this other goodness.
you,
I know.
yeah, I mean, there's everything on there, but yeah,
Right. It tells you exactly what to expect boarding, how they're keeping everybody safe, medical services, how many staff. We saw lots of nurses, doctors. So yeah, it's everything's on the app.
Did you
Thanks,
feel
Matt
very
and
safe?
Lauren?
Thank you, Matt and Lauren. We love hitting the big 30. We didn't know when
Yeah.
it was gonna, because we were hanging at 29 for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you guys feel safe when you finally got through and everything?
Finally got through and was able to take
Right.
off our masks. It was so safe. I mean, of course, the ship was only. I mean, if it was 30%, it was a low 30%.
Right.
Oh wow.
And
It was really, that's us. That's at the pool deck at 9 a.m. on a sea day.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was not, we would have the entire pool and hot tubs to ourselves until about 10 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
There just was, it never felt crowded. You could always get a chair. That's the grand foyer.
going down to guest services,
Yeah.
and there was never anybody there. I mean, we never had to wait in a line. We never had to wait for an
Oh.
elevator.
We
That's
always
so
joked that it
nice.
was our private elevator because we had the same one.
It was the same one every time, and it just the same elevator came. But yeah,
Wow.
we felt so super safe. And
I did feel like we were in a bubble. Like we were in our own little protective bubble because 98% of the passengers and 100% of the crew were vaccinated. We did have to produce tests. And then at the end of the cruise, we did have to test again.
and the testing to come back home was because of the U.S. requirement
Right.
for air travel. It wasn't actually
Right.
We weren't testing like every day or anything like that, but Celebrity provided that for free, and they gave us our results in probably a couple of hours. We got a message on our phone that it had been done, and they also gave us paper copies so that way we could present it when we got back to the St. Martin airport.
Nice.
Sure.
But
So tell us.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, tell us about your dining experience at the Tuscan.
You
Grill.
want to talk about the food?
Want to talk about the Tuscan? Okay, the Tuscan was amazing.
Right.
That was our first time. This is actually only our second celebrity cruise. The first celebrity cruise we went on was a 2-day. So if you try to cram in an entire cruise in 2 days, I'm going to tell you, you're gonna miss some things.
Yeah.
So the Tuscan Grill was really great. I mean, they do an amazing antipasta platter.
Yeah. So we went for lunch and for dinner. We had bought the dining experience. We got, there's the antipasta.
Yum.
Amazing. And so that was at dinner, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for dinner.
Yeah, that was for dinner.
So we just had so we bought this package. It was $100 for each of us. And we got 2 dinners at Specialty and a lunch at Tuscan. And the lunch was just phenomenal. I had filet mignon, and Dale had homemade carbonara.
Yep, they make all their own pasta, so I mean, it was really fantastic. And we found that a lot of times with the specialty restaurants, we do like to go to the lunch, especially if we've never tried it before, because most of the cruise lines will discount the lunch, but it's almost a mere.
There's the carbonara.
It's almost a mere a smaller condensed menu of the dinner menu, so you can decide, well, you know what, do I want to really come back here for dinner or not? And they make all their own pasta, and it was fabulous.
So I'll address the question. We did have kids on board. There was approximately 24. There was 24 kids, the babies and then older.
Yeah.
And 22 of those were not vaccinated.
Okay.
They were little.
They were very little, but you rarely saw any children. We did see one little girl constantly because she joined us for water aerobics, and she was the only one in kids club, so she had 4 minders to herself. So it was interesting because I thought that it was going to be, and just nobody, I hope take offense, but I thought it was going to be all old white people on board, and that was not the case at all. There was every sort of race, all ages. I mean, we interacted with a 91-year-old, all the way down to like a 22-year-old.
Yeah, there were people that were on their honeymoon. There were people that were celebrating family reunions. Yeah. I think the biggest hurdle really for filling that particular ship was the fact that you did have to fly to St. Martin in order to get on the ship.
Right.
If it was boarding at one of the Florida ports, it probably would have been 40%, 50%, whatever the max capacity is that they're doing right now. So
well, and Bill saying at MGM Family Travel, they were just on the Carnival Horizon, and that sailed out of Miami, I believe.
Miami?
I know he'll correct me if I'm wrong. He's good for letting me know if something wrong. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So they had 150 kids, so you could see the difference, and maybe part of that is the flying thing and all the extra obstacles of going to another country to start your cruise. And also it was a little bit after the cruise you were on, so maybe people were feeling more comfortable, and it could be the different policies. We're seeing all these different cruise lines because of all the random messages, I'll just say, have different ways of doing, not just by cruise line, but even by individual ship or port. So yeah, that's a little
and
different.
We heard that too from people that were on the cruise with us, that they're, we even said it ourselves. We're like, we had an amazing trip, but for a 7-day Caribbean cruise, this was kind of one and done, where we can't just drive to the port.
Right.
It was a big ask between the airfare, the St. Martin, and the testing requirements. Your vaccination card is like gold. That's more precious right now than your passport. And I'm not lying. That thing, I mean, we protected it with our lives because we would not be able to get back into St. Martin.
I mean, yeah, it was amazing, and it was,
That's kind of scary too, to think that you have to keep track of that card.
It's a piece of cardboard. It's
It's
You-
not
you can't-
laminated.
You can't laminate it,
anything.
and it doesn't fit very well in a passport holder. It's kind
No.
of big.
No.
And you're really holding on to that thing because that thing's your lifeline. Because if you lose it, you can't go back to where you got your shot and say, "Can I just get another one?" No, it doesn't work that way. So, but we've already booked our next celebrity actually in 2 weeks. So
Oh,
it's,
wow.
August 1st.
And then we
Where
can
is
come
that
back
leaving
and tell you
from?
the difference.
Yeah, we'll tell you the differences because we'll be going out of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
on the
nice.
Equinox.
Okay.
Okay.
On the
And
Equinox. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
now they did ask us on the phone. They said, "Are you vaccinated?" And I,
Mhm.
Florida law, take it as you will.
Mhm.
But it's they did ask us, and it did show on our documentation that yes, and we were
Right.
willing to show.
Right.
that.
They did ask us that
Right.
too once we booked. They said, "Are you willing to show your vaccination card?" And
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh yeah." And then all of a sudden our invoice changed.
It has.
Uh-huh.
It actually had a line that said vaccinated.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they're walking a fine line between the governor's office
are.
and the CDC and everything else going on. Just to clarify for anybody that's watching, and I think you're missing something, Bill. If you had made people think that you had 150 kids, you might get a lot more subscribers over on your channel. I know I'd be watching that. Only 4 of them were theirs. So we do have another question for you from Happy Slappy. What's been your favorite cruise ship?
I think that he's going to be disappointed because he wants us to say the Harmony or the Brilliance because those are the 2 we've been on with him.
Ah,
Our favorite ship,
Holland America, New Amsterdam.
the New Amsterdam.
Really?
But,
Why that
we're-
ship?
It's Holland is known for their smaller ships. It's one of their newer ships before they went to like the bigger, the Ryan Dam, the Koningsdam, the New Staten Dam. It had a lot of variety of activities. There was just these really neat places to go. And of course we love Holland. So
Yeah, but I mean, we're getting kind of hooked on celebrities. So
we are. We Holland and Celebrity were neck and neck, and now they just might.
They're
switch.
still fighting it out, but
Yeah.
we'll let you know after the next one. But yeah,
Wow.
the dining experiences. Back to Joy's question, we loved it. The Tuscan Grill was great. The interesting thing I thought about the Tuscan Grill is that most cruise ships that we've been on, even the smaller cruise ships like the Holland, have both a steakhouse and an Italian restaurant.
mhm.
But the way Celebrity does it with the Tuscan Grill is it's actually an Italian
Combined.
steakhouse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can get pasta.
There's
and
my ribeye.
there's your ribeye.
Wow.
And the picture doesn't do it justice because it was a 10-ounce ribeye and it was like, you got the meat sweats from it. So
Sounds good.
That's what Dan likes to hear.
And then you had a lunch portion with a fillet, which is probably
Yeah,
what
that's-
Joy
yeah,
would
that's
Oh.
the fillet with the lunch portion. And it was, I think it was a 5-ounce fillet.
It was pretty big.
Yeah, and I mean
Right.
lunch. We had lunch with our package because the 2 days, actually 3 days, 4 days, somewhere around there. The last week before we boarded, we got this this quick saver offer
Yeah.
where you got 2 specialty dining dinners and a lunch, but it was at a reduced price over the 3, 5, or 7 night dining package.
But I
Huh.
think
Wow.
we should talk about the most wonderful restaurant we've ever experienced at sea, La Petite Chef.
Okay, well, we
Chef.
got to talk about that, but before we do one, we got a couple very important things. I realized that you forgot to say hello to Josh Rocks, who is in the house, and Eric B is also here, so got to say hello to them. And I may have missed it while I was trying to navigate the control center here, but did you guys mention dessert at Tuscan Grill? Because it looked like you had some pretty interesting desserts.
Yes, we had the
That's the best
chocolate pistachio creme brulee.
Yes.
There it is.
And I will say, even from the picture, it's not the most appetizing looking creme brulee we've ever had. It was very dark, and when they first set it down, we were like, "What is that?"
Right.
But
Mhm.
it tastes much better than it looked
Amazing.
because it's a chocolate creme brulee. So
Right.
Oh.
I've never
it's,
had that before. I've always had the vanilla. So, and
Yeah.
then he had the Italian shortcake the strawberries and shortcake.
Yes.
There it is.
Oh,
yeah, with
look
the
at
cream,
that.
and it was like
The cream and lays.
creme anglaise, and,
Yeah.
and then you kind of had to let it sit there for a second for the cream or the cake to kind of absorb the cream, but it was like a deconstructed strawberry shortcake. But it was
Yeah,
very
that's
good.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
It was very tasty.
No, I'm
It
just
looks-
dreaming about that. Just now I want a filet mignon.
Well, and I gotta say, to your point, when Jen, when you sent me these great photos, I initially saw the photo before I saw what it was, and I was like, wait, what is this dark? And then I saw the description, and I was like, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Like I said, when they brought it out, it was like, what is that? Because it didn't look like the typical creme brulee where it's kind of cream colored, and then they use the blowtorch on it.
Right.
But because of the chocolate, it makes it
Right.
darker.
But they did it right. They had the perfect where you took the spoon and you knocked on it to make sure that it had the crunch.
You gotta have the crunch.
You gotta have the
Yeah.
crunch, and they had that. Usually, my favorite dessert, Riley, is a creme brulee. We're fancy like that. But this one was very good.
Yeah.
So,
And I think for dinner when we went to dinner for Tuscan, we had the limoncello cheesecake, and she's not a cheesecake fan at all, but she actually liked it. It was weird because there was no crust on the cheesecake. It was all just cheesecake, and then they had like a crumble of crust piled on the side that you could mix in. But it was the perfect sweet tart, not too cheesecakey, because she doesn't like anything too cheesecakey.
So was it more like a pudding?
No, it was
still firm like a cheesecake. It was just, it tasted like, have you ever had a limoncello shot or the martini limoncello?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
You
okay,
have?
that's what it was.
Yeah, it was like
I
it was like
didn't know
it was like a
what
lemon
it was.
drop cheesecake.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, it was.
I
So-
It had a little bit
Limoncello.
of tang, but it tasted a little sweet.
We'll speak joy. Yes, it was like a limoncello cheesecake.
Right.
Like a
go.
lemon drop.
Yep.
Yum.
I've
So,
had limoncello.
Before we move on to Le Petit Chef, because I know we got to talk about Le Petit Chef. I know a lot of people are curious about it. I know that's an experience that we want to have. We have another question. Happy Slappy's asking about your favorite dessert from a cruise. Did we cover that with one of those? Or
Creme brulee. He knows it. That's
He knows
his favorite.
that's his
too.
favorite, because Auntie always spoils him.
Yeah,
Auntie shows him the fancy things in life.
that's
But
great.
the other thing is, like, we should mention that when we stepped on board that ship, we were treat yourself time. We were like, it's been 15 months, 500 days.
Sure.
It almost like we felt like we were going to walk on board and just throw $100 bills everywhere and then quickly pick them back up because we're cheap. But we were like, whatever expense, whatever you want to indulge in.
But we really did. We didn't find a lot of things that really were out of any. The thing we've talked about is that the most interesting thing was how normal the cruise was. We went to trivia every day. We saw because we always make friends at trivia. That's that's kind of our thing. So we saw the same people at trivia every day, and we went to arts and crafts. We made scrapbooks. We did
water aerobics.
We did water aerobics. It was the buffet was great. It was a normal cruise. The only difference on the buffet, pre-COVID versus after, is that you don't serve yourself anymore.
Which, if you've ever been on a Holland America, Holland serves you, and so we were already used to them serving us, so it wasn't a big deal for us to not be self-served.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like when you go to a cafeteria. You point at it and say, "I want that, and I want that," and that's what you do.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so now let's talk about Jen. Tell us about Le Petit Chef.
Oh my goodness. So this thing, he was the one who had said this is going to be the most amazing experience. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Let's just book it. And
she's like, what am I going to eat? Am I going to eat weird food? Because I took her, we did go to Wonderland
on Royal
on the Harmony. And that was an interesting experience.
Yeah. I left hungry. I'll tell you that. On Wonderland, on Le Petit Chef, it was amazing. So we went the first night, and there was like 4 other couples, and they have like this little animation and everything. Your plate has to stay exactly where it is. Your glasses, for water and wine, and everything has to stay exactly where it is. And on top, they project down this video of the chef. There he is.
There he is. There he goes.
Uh-huh.
He's pulling up his lobster. That was actually the second menu with the lobster. They had two varieties of menu. One where there he goes. I love watching the videos.
Very cool.
One where La Petite Chef cooks the entire meal. That was actually the first generation of the menu. And then there's the first night we went was the second gen menu where there's actually like a master chef competition, and you have 4 different chefs. You have an Italian, a Spanish chef, a Japanese chef, and La Petite Chef, and they each make a course.
Oh wow.
And so each of the animations is them, but I mean it's a totally immersive experience.
Amazing.
The the music, the little cartoons, everything, and at the end of each cartoon, where at the end of, I guess I would call it a performance, they set the plate down right at that time. So it's timed. So when they cover it up, it's the same picture that they just made.
Oh wow.
It's very clever.
How long did the performance or the meal take?
About an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
You had to get there right on time. You had to actually
yeah.
get there a little bit early so you could, get your drink order in and get, what you want. For the second time that we went, which is the lobster that you saw, I don't eat lobster. And you don't eat lobster.
No, I actually, they said, well, the show is going to be the exact same, but there is an alternate menu. So if there's, and you can pick parts of that menu that you might not like. Right. So instead of the lobster, we each had the sea bass. Then the first course on that particular menu was a bouillabaisse, and I actually had the bouillabaisse, but she doesn't like bouillabaisse at all, so she actually had French onion soup. Yeah. And they do have a kids menu as well. We actually did. We don't have kids, but we always like to ask. And they said, yeah, we have a kids menu. Now it's not part of the performance, but they'll bring you out chicken fingers if you want chicken fingers.
Oh, okay.
So it's totally flexible. Right. The staff was amazing.
Right.
And
the desserts was the only thing that were lacking because like for one of the nights it was a chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, the lobster menu, he makes an ice cream sundae at the end. And literally it was 2 scoops of ice cream with chocolate sauce.
It was not fancy.
It wasn't anything that they, and then the chef competition, they made a mochi cake, because it was a Japanese chef.
Like the green tea.
It was like a green tea.
Yeah,
but then they had lychee.
Yeah. Lychee was inside the cake, and she didn't like it all. I
Yum for some. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing though is that at the end of the one with the 4 chefs, you get to vote as an audience, the entire restaurant, and decide which dish you like the best. Now I can tell you that Mr. Mochi cake did not win. Actually, our favorite was the ravioli,
the
truffle ravioli that was made by the Italian chef. That
that
sounds good.
So
he likes anything with truffles in it.
It was amazing. Like I don't eat. I'm so picky. I really am. But I don't eat any of that. Yeah. And I gobbled that and looked at Dale's like, "Are you going to eat that?"
It had pancetta on top of it. It was spectacular. And then the main course on both was the main course on the one was a fillet. That's and then the other menu was a filet mignon. And one of the things you can do is if you're on a 7-day, you can if you see the menu and you like some of the things, and you can do the substitutions, or you can ask them, when will you change the menu? Because
that's good to know.
The Millennium actually is it's probably there by now, but it was moving up to Alaska the week after we were there. And the company that makes La Petite Chef, because there actually are physical restaurants that you can go to with the same experience. And the company that does that was coming on. We talked to the chef, and they were doing the third version of it, and we have no
cool.
idea what that menu is. So from St. Martin to Alaska, the chef was going to learn how to make the new version.
So
Wow.
we're hoping these blocks that we're going on in 2 weeks will have
the
new
third version, because we know which
Ooh.
version we have by the menu that's served, because they can't really change the show.
Right.
But,
So,
but it is worth it. But like you said, everybody has to show up they have 2 seatings, and everybody has to be there at the same time, because the lights dim and then your table comes on and
it's showtime.
It's showtime.
That sounds so cool. Yeah.
So what else should people know about Celebrity Millennium?
Yeah. Good question.
It was a very easy ship to navigate. It's not the biggest ship we've ever been on. I mean, that was the Harmony, but it was, I think it's probably
2,100 passengers.
2,100.
So there was a few disappointing things. One, they only had one show time, and that was at 9 p.m. So when we had dinner at 6, got done with at 7, there was nothing to do until 9. And so we usually just ended up back in our room, chilling out on the balcony. So that was really disappointing. And then they had the Persian Garden, which we thought was going to be super fancy, and it would be like a spa experience because it's right in the spa area. So one day we got up and we just snuck in, and all it was saunas.
It was about 5 different saunas.
We thought it was going to be like a thermal spa.
We thought it was going to be the full thermal spa where they have like the thalassotherapy pool and all of that.
That you could find on Holland or Princess.
Sure.
And that was not the case. It was just like spas. Like they had one that was an aroma, one was a cold one, a super hot one.
And I think it was they charged $45 a day for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now aqua class rooms, which we didn't have the aqua class rooms, do get access to that. And there's also a specialty restaurant Blue for aqua class rooms.
Right.
And then there's for the concierge class and for suites, there's another restaurant called Luminé. So there are, and you can dine in there the entire time. And of course you have the main dining room with anytime dining on one deck and then set dining on the other. The only reason that they did the one show is we actually talked to one of the activities people, and they said because we were on the 3rd sailing ever since COVID. And the first 2 sailings, because the ship had so few passengers, there would be like 10 people at the 7 o'clock showing. So they just consolidate everything, put it at 9 o'clock, and that. But that was a little bit disappointing. But I will say their coffee bar was amazing. The staff was amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
What was your favorite drink at the coffee bar?
Igloo.
The Igloo.
It was their version of a Frappuccino. But,
nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would get the double espresso, double shot of everything. And
one of the things that we liked about Celebrity as opposed to other lines is that we did the premium non-alcoholic package. And a lot of times you either have to do the full drink package or you can get the soda package.
Right.
But the premium non-alcoholic package, we could get everything that was non-alcoholic, and that included like virgin daiquiris, smoothies,
Red Bulls,
premium waters, Avion, Perrier, and then all your coffees, sodas, everything. And I think it was $22 a day.
Wow.
And just if you figure how much a bottle of water is, and we drink a lot of water. So, I mean, each bottle of water, looking on the price list, was $5. So as long as we drank 4 bottles of water a day, we made everything else was gravy. But there was no limit on the amount you could have. And you could walk up to any bar and say, you know what, I'd like a soda. I'd like a virgin daiquiri, a virgin pina colada, and they would make it for you. And one of the cool things at the buffet was that they lined up all of the sodas and beer and everything and water. And you just say, you know what, I want that. And they'd say, here you go.
Huh.
Nice.
Interesting. So
2 or 3
we're talking about food and drinks. I mean, if anybody watching this knows us, knows our channel, they can see why we mesh with you two so well, why we get along with you. We are from the same world. We love the cruise food. when we go on a cruise, we're going to spoil ourselves, and having all the special drinks and the special service and all that is awesome. And to that point, it may surprise you, but we've almost gone through this entire hour already. It's a time's flying. So we have a couple more questions we got to get in. One is talking about everything. You've presented a lot of different things about the cruise experience, but knowing, and you're seeing how the cruise experience is evolving. Like Bill and Lucy on the Carnival Horizon had a little bit different experience. It's a little more evolved, I think, than what you guys had a few weeks before that. Would you recommend people cruising now, or would you recommend them waiting?
I can't speak
you
for
know
her.
what? Here's the thing: is that if you're comfortable going out in public without a mask, and if you're fully vaccinated, go on a cruise. I am going to tell you 100% go on a cruise. You're going to feel wonderful. It's going to be relaxing, and it will be surreal. It took me like 3 days to get over. Like, it was so normal to be back on a cruise that I had a hard time adjusting. It was weird because you weren't wearing a mask. You were just going out and about doing your own stuff, and it was a cruise. But if you're not vaccinated and you have some hesitations, then I say don't cruise. Let it go by, because these first cruises, we really are the guinea pigs. They're working out all the kinks in the system. But if you want to cruise, no better time. The ships are at less than 40% capacity. I just checked on our Equinox cruise in 2 weeks, and that's at 30%.
If that
right now.
Right. Wow.
And so, you're going to get a different experience. And we haven't cruised Carnival yet.
You would love it.
Not since the pandemic.
Not since.
Right. Okay.
You cruised a lot before.
If you haven't, that's one of our first cruises.
There's lots of gold cards.
But we've got 9 cruises booked.
Wow.
We just called our travel agent before we got on, and we're going to book another one. We have some issues. We do have issues.
We are addicted to cruising, but I think that
I think that's a good addiction to have, though.
It is.
I approve.
It is.
I hope that everybody does, like she said, if you are able to, if you feel comfortable going to the grocery store and you've been vaccinated, if you're not able to, depending on, your medical things, I would probably wait, just because just based on the requirements that are currently out there, you will have a different experience.
Yeah.
But if you're vaccinated, you will have a cruise, an amazing time, a regular cruise experience.
I think that's good advice. And just like everything else with what's been going on for the last 15, 16 months, whatever it's been, people kind of have to make their own decisions. You follow guidance, you do whatever, but I mean, it can be a little different for each individual, but it sounds like for the most part, once you took your mask off and you were on board, most of the time, it sounds like it felt like good old cruising. Just every once in a while, you'd be reminded by the lack of people, or maybe that they cut back on some of the activities a little bit.
Well, most of the time, you're never going to hear me complain about the lack of people on a cruise.
Well, the thing is, the staff had to wear masks until Wednesday, and then they got the okay to take the masks off, and so we went around, and they were so happy. They're like, happy maskless day. And they were all hugging and kissing each other. And when we disembarked, they still hadn't been off the ship in 60 days.
Oh, that seems terrible.
And those requirements were to keep us as passengers. Because the reason they got to take off the masks while we were on there is because they hit the 30 days post-vaccination.
Right. Wow. Well, that's quite an experience. But we need to kind of wrap things up here a little bit. We want to mention that we have the link to your awesome Instagram page linked down below in the description, so be sure to check it out. We Jen and Dale, we would love to have you back again here in the near future. I think I've linked down below in the description also we did a ship guide for the ship, but you know what? Us doing the research and figuring out and learning about all this stuff and going, oh my gosh, Le Petit Chef sounds so awesome, is a lot different than talking to people like you who can actually tell us what the experience was like. It's a difference between reading an encyclopedia and watching a movie. And I feel like we kind of watched the movie of your experience here, and we really appreciate you sharing that with us. It's always great fun talking to the two of you. And I know we'll be talking to you again soon, and maybe we'll have you back on a live show here again before too long.
Forward to it.
Yeah, and I know you've cruises planned, so you'll have more new experiences to share.
Exactly.
3 weeks. So we'll be back in 4.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
Sounds good.
We want to thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll be in touch with you.
Definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody have a great night. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Wow, so that was Jen and Dale. They are an awesome couple that I guess we're a little biased. We personally like them a lot.
We do like them
a lot
a
of fun, and
They're pretty cool.
yeah, and they kind of like a lot of the same things we do. She doesn't like cheesecake, just like I don't.
Well, you can have a flaw. That's okay.
Well, Jen, good thing she laughed. I think she might be insulted that you say that's a flaw. That's a taste. It's a difference in taste.
Well, everyone can have a difference in taste.
And
it's
they
good.
like ribeyes. We both like ribeyes and fillets.
Yeah.
Well, so they have a lot. They're smart people. We
Very
appreciate them joining us tonight, and we appreciate all of you stopping by. Charlie, we miss saying hi to you, but we appreciate you mentioning that you enjoyed the show. We're glad you all enjoyed the show. We'll be back again next week, 7 o'clock still Eastern time, although that might change in the near future. We'll see. Stay tuned. We have new Ship Guide episodes coming up. We're going to continue to put those out because they seem to be very popular. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to get your Cruise Day Fun Beach Tee. It's our first regular t-shirt that's available at cruisedayfun.com.
Yep.
Is it okay to do a plug like that?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Definitely.
good. Go get yours.
It's the 2021 beach t-shirt.
See, she's giving it a new name now. So that's the name. So yeah, and thanks to Deb. I don't think I got a chance to say hi to you. I'm sure James is probably working, but we always love having you guys on. And thanks for joining us. And thanks to all of you for joining us. We have enjoyed having you here. Is there anything else we need to mention? Huh?
Thanks for watching.
And subscribe and like us and give us thumbs up and all that.
That's what I was doing.
Oh, you were doing that while I was rambling on?
Yeah.
Huh. Go figure. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here again next week, 7 o'clock Eastern time.